Stephen Banville, Fer Miniki Himid Marlon Tosia, Brishton Osen Sagas, Desh gets the Galviganisher score low, Jer Farrer, Farana Ringado, the Hernalish and Elishin, Augustani Hit faint to Fach to get Farrer than Galiv. Martian Far Hunele, Jim Berry, Henning Counts Hogant, August Howlofa, the Hurler Ho score. Nish, Tylish Nardinacha, who call it Sunner, short the Stacham Yelavodia, August Fachtisch go to get Cannon, Shashatzer Hul, a Cody Lashtig the Boygille, Shanomut Immer, the Entazaka, Pokui Vedra Shaska, Jer Farrer, August on that Dienta.
More on Tahi, again, Mertaka Bedra. I should have held in the Rare Kelly, Farrer Green Reach.
Nash. And who coins on again, Gus Cannon, Oberton Skorga Cannon, Stachary Barry Nish, or having the live edition, and Trust us shot the Stanga Donald Barry, Anna Fainter Fat.
Bag and out Anna Fainter, good Jones.
Stachaka Jer Farrer, Connell, Wood to Creen again.
Well kept in by Kieran Kenny. Down towards full forward Keith Burke. Good hooking by Tomas Waters. Linesman indicates it's going Wexford's way. Sideline cut by Jim Berry is a really good one. Classy piece of hurling from Jim Berry. And if Jer Farrer can do it for Galway at one side with 4 points, Jim Berry is doing it for Wexford with 3. Tony O'Gregan. Farrer's Jer Farrer. Paul Roach got a touch to it. Comes instead to Andy Smith. In Orion coming through the middle. Being chased by Kieran Kenny. Galway looking very dangerous. Oh, good stop again. Excellent goalkeeping. Perfectly positioned. And this was a bullet from Niall Healy. Good goalkeeping by Niall Breen. Paul Roach is there for Wexford. Good hands. Very good hands by Donald Barry. Good combination as well. As Barry lashes this over the black spot for his second point in this Allianz League encounter. PJ Nolan. Good response by Wexford. Laid it off for Stephen Banville. 2 wing forwards combining nicely. Good score. Donald Barry. Jer Farrer. Goes for distance. Niall Healy waiting for it inside, laying it off is Angus Callan, and Healy was the one that came in. And once again, Wexford goalkeeper Niall Breen stands his ground. Here comes the shot. There's the save, almost a replica of an earlier one. And it's Galway that retain possession. Low ball in from Donald Barry, picked up here by Angus Callan, gets inside the cover for the first time. Still Callan goes for the goal! Angus Callan finally gets away from Matthew O'Hanlon, and Galway are home and dry. Callan has great pace, allied to some degree of skill, I can assure you. What about that for a finish? Nice ball inside, a ball that every corner forward loves. He was under severe pressure, wasn't he? He did well. Nice hands again. Goal scorer Angus Callan had a pop, and a successful trip it was. Watch this for class. Matthew O'Hanlon unable to prevent him putting this over the bar from quite a difficult angle. Stephen Banville pump it back in around the house, and I hope something can break, and perhaps it has. There's a chance here. Tomas Waters is fouled, and this time it's a penalty. This is the penalty that was created by Tomas Waters with 4 Galway players around him. Goalkeeper Niall Breen has come all the way up to take this penalty. Here he comes. Off the post and over the bar. Seemed to glance off the hurl. No threat to the Galway goalkeeper and his co-defenders. Disappointing afternoon for Colin Bonner. Nice pick up by Brian Murphy. Sends it into the centre. And the referee, James McGrath from County Westmeath, blows the full-time whistle. A very good start for John McIntyre and Galway to the Allianz League. They are, after all, the reigning league champions. But an absolutely terrible day for Wexford. Full-time score in Galway. Galway 124, Wexford 6 points.
It's a major setback for the management team and the players. We came up having worked very hard. We thought we were in good form, you know, things, we done everything that we thought was right, and obviously the result then 124 to our 6 or 7 points. It just, you know, it just showed a goal freely.
That's obviously a demoralising result and performance for them today, because I know there's an awful lot of work going in, and just recently there, Owlar were a bit unlucky to lose the Leinster Club final. They were favourites to win the All-Ireland title, so they do have players down there. It's a question of uniting them and knitting them together, but it's going to be hard for them to pick up the pieces after today's result, but hopefully they will.
Yeah, so then Galway getting the 2011 league campaign off to a winning start. Tomas Mackay, we were talking earlier on the programme there about Galway and how they haven't won more and whatever, but obviously on today's evidence they have a lot more problems down in Wexford.
Yeah, and that's a serious concern, Michael. That was an awful performance by Wexford today, you know, and you'd expect better, being honest with you. I mean, coming into the start of a National League campaign, there's a lot of training sessions gone on and stuff like that, but I mean, the scoreline could have been a lot worse. I mean, but from a Wexford point of view, just scoring 6 points, 4 points in the first half, 2 in the second half, and one of those comes from a goalkeeper from a penalty shot, you know, so it isn't looking good for Wexford at all, you know, and God only knows what's going on down there. I mean, we're talking, but we mentioned Galway, look, but there is a serious issue below in Wexford for some reason or other.
Michael, Colin Bonner's a good manager. They've put work in down there. There's no question about that. We've seen a lot of the work that's gone into Wexford, but it's obviously not gelling at the moment.
Yeah, it is, and you know, it's an issue. You have Limerick and Clare in Division 2. You have Wexford. You know, teams that were over the last 20 years very near the top. You know, and getting it very hard. But Owlar in the Leinster Club final a couple of weeks ago there, and a lot of them on the panel. But it's just, you know, as Colin Bonner said, you can see it in his face, written in his face. Probably really trained hard and went down, and they were in Division 2, you know, for a couple of years. Got out of it last year, but it looks like they're going back down there. And you know, it's sad to see a lot of great. We were just talking there on the break about the great Wexford players in the 90s, and they're really gone so far back from there. It's unbelievable.
Well, I suppose it is the first game in the league, so we have to be patient and see how the year pans out. Let's look at Galway.
Fáilte roi bhealach féchan na Somalia ag stáit simple an seo nuair le Saoile I gcóir an chéadhhabhta an treanáisiúnta imánaíochta idir Tipperary agus Kilkenny an seo faoin na Sáilte. An pass tuki Richie Hogan, Aidan Fogarty. An tíomhlíne cean mór ard, bhfuil an chéad scór ampsí ag tág a Devon an chéad scór ampsí ag Aidan Fogarty go Kilkenny. Leachas a chlé. Shane McGrath leis a bucsleasta go Tipperary. Cean all an tócaí aige, tití nuas a méle chóil, agus an puinte fáin sin ag Timmy Hammersley. Well, bhí chance ar chóil an sin ar fes second. Feic mu diríiste. Jaile Timmy Hammersley an ceantin a chur ar frasnán David Herity. Agus curthaí an sin a bhearlár Páircí Tipperary an Shane McGrath agus tugsí ar isteach a bheits an. Pa Burke fear a dahad slát. Agus an ceantin aimsí aige. Tipperary curthaí an tesí ar ísteach Pa Burke. Richie Hogan an ish agus Seans agus scór eile aimseo go Kilkenny ón bucsí ar seo, agus Jenan sé sin gan stró ar bith. Na fórne ar chó scóran is aige. Agus Pa Burke is a goal frí de lár. Turtle in Snasáil tugadh sin pass by, agus an ceantin báte Garrod Ryan an lán tosach ar dheis. Well, near Jackie Turtle on Pa Burka Stoppu. Hookchen pass by Garrod Ryan. Axon Kanchan Botcha. The Gulna Hangi. Lahasakar Yesh Garrod Ryan. Fekam Jinchane. Agus near Herity and Antadi and Ofishin. Chancelinishik Pa Burk on Boxer shot. Axon Puncha Forchega. Cool contestia to na Tipperary. Agus Richie Hogan and Nish Jeshella Fosega. Can't you know Bagnach Lord na Park agus Shin can bra fotcha in Shinnig Richie Hogan. Darren Gleason's a goal in Shinnig Hibberdorden. Na Tipperary golf when contessi. Ruger Ellen shot. Pa Burke took a pass. Macha gever Lord Parkish and Shane McGrath. Shane McGrath hena galo ruhurnish. Tommy Waltz na Soler. Agus and punch a fortune Shane gever Lord Parkish Shane McGrath. Well, we chance are cool in the first second because she didn't go share rap. So live and you know Tommy Walsh. Chile Fortune Rashik try Kilkenny. Agus Shinne Aiden Fogarty. And Verna Dunchiege. Declan Ryan in Far will 3-1 Aiden in a Fokege. Bannister Hibberdorden. Chancellor Chagorichi Hogan and Ish. Agus Picartmach and Cancha. Harve Eski. Agus Gajevin Tall. Verna go holy during the Ford in Marakenchev. And pass took a sheer Gaji John Mulhall and Fair Lord Parker took a chef we Agus and 24 John Mulhall. TJ Reid hook and pass going chin. On a Heath Clay in chin John Mulhall. Sinead Noel McGrath Canshin Curry Trasnege. Agus Sir John O'Neill, Lantas a Yesh, agus an punch a fortige. Golf winch during the Ford in Marakenchev. Well, the O'Neill Harvesh Guppy in Chin. Farinbeg Scoffanta. Shogun the Kutcher East. Richie Hogan a hen on Emerton bout the shot. On Thief Clay, punch a Broadway Richie Hogan. Golf winch a force Marvarna in California. Hogan Rachel and Bunthashtin go. Chancellor Funchincha Richie Hogan. Agus Tapin Sheyesh. Tokamach Fortiga Holland and Chin. TJ Reid. Tasha Galo Roher and took a pass by. Stahig of Lord Park of Mulhall. Tasha Golistach the Vertigogas and punch it Toki again. On a heap clay, John Mulhall at East. Tasha Goff went to contest the initial quit. Well, near a chance of big Hugh Maloney, Rinsha Yehel, August Paddy Stapleton and Chinga Hibberdorden. Ach Jairi le Mulhall and Punch Amshow. So the Richie Hogan are reached. Snasaler Paddy Stapleton. Mach according to Akshat Fennelly, Michael Fennelly on a heap clay. Score bra for Chige, Michael Fennelly. Three punch contest yet on a quitchinish. Shogun at East here, Tommy Walsh. August Gawalin Tachinchin, Shadek Colin Fennelly. August and cool for Chige. Lantasaka Yesh Colin Fennelly. Well, Doc Chef here Hibberdorden in a yay in chin. August Wash and Conchin in Yacht and a hangy and Shin. Hushestachin had Darren Gleesony. And Wash Jachanus and a Tille. Skill all in year and Shin egg. Colin Fennelly. Pass Tucky Waya Garage Ryan. Axon Punche Fortune Chin. Go Kilkenny. Go Hiverdorden Noel McGrath. Cody Master Sauce to Jerin. Banishjor, Kilkenny Arnohia, and two fast Gruchiege, Sinimmert, August Marwanistor. Shahogan a quit east, Richie Hogan bout the 1-0. Paddy Stapleton Fortune Yege, and pass live. Eddie Brennan, August and Twitcher on Lawn Tussock Eddie Brennan. Lawn Tussock at Tashagimmers to Nocht and Fersko Fantasha Eddie Brennan Nuggets is cool at the Amshiege Le Blianti North. Yerishe Grimmer Goman and Shin. So the Pab Bork or Patrick Maher, Picartamara. Patrick Maher and Lawn Tussock. Snasaler JJ Delaney, Agus and Puncha Fortune again Lawn Tussock and Shin. Patrick Maher. Quick Funcha Marvarna during the 4 foul. JJ Delaney Tagimmers Marlan Huri Nocht. Kilkenny Yihiligiri Stoppu ach Hinner. Chancellor Fosa Hogan. Agus Tapincha Yesh. Punchele Gorichi Hogan. Gahul Nushe Funche Marvarna during the 4 TJ Reid. Oh, fish all in Jerry and Chenega. Hogan and Chen gone dinner or Bichen a Weaver, August. Tapin Chayesh. Glock and Chelish a Bunche. A fish in Tacleri here, TJ Reid. August and Puck Schlassin. Will she on Tosh shut then Puck Schlassa. Noel McGrath. Chiappa Garshagol. Foril ach Hushi Jirach Tivistigan Foster. Shot Turtle on past Tommy Walsh. Why Jackie Turtle, August, Jen and Tommy Walsh and Ruddy and Chegaminik. Oh, fair Shanish and Skluchus. Tashan a rexty cart. Like fear Yaruna Himmerhe. Brian Gavin and Ray Jordan, here the Yanishanish. Shannon scored Jerry.
A platform from which they were never going to be hauled back in, and in the end it finishes at Semple Stadium. Kilkenny 1 goal and 17 points, Tipperary 1 goal and 10.
Yeah, we started off very well tonight. Our first 20 minutes was as good as we had hoped. Our legs seemed to give out a little bit after that, but you know the guys are in the middle of a fairly heavy pre-season at the minute. And I suppose Kilkenny are a couple of weeks ahead of us in their preparation, and it showed there tonight.
I thought it was a very good performance. We were lucky to escape injury in that no player had to go off, and you know every player was committed to the cause. So you know we come down and we've got a good win out of it.
While it will hardly make up for last September's defeat at Croke Park, but Kilkenny will be well satisfied with that victory in Thurles. Michael Duggan, one of the things about it is, you know, it's a league win for Kilkenny. That's really what it is. But of course now people will kind of read all sorts of things into this, that Kilkenny are laying down a marker and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it was really a bit of shadow boxing. This year, the top 4 get into the semi-finals in the league. Tip and Kilkenny will be more than likely in that top 4. With so many players missing on both sides, I suppose there was an element of shadow boxing about it. The conditions were very poor, very windy, heavy rain, but still a lot of commitment on both sides. I quite enjoyed it. I thought some of the scores in very bad conditions were good, but Tipperary ended up with only 4 or 5 of their All-Ireland team on the field. Kilkenny's, we'll call them fringe players or new players, which I think they'll have to bring into the team this year. Lads like John Mulhall, Colin Fennelly, Richie Power, who's there a while but scored 10 points taking the frees. Those guys all played very well, and you know they had more experienced players around them. For a finish up, Tipperary had you know had so many lads. Owen Kelly's wedding on Friday. I'm not sure whether there was a bit of a party down there or not, but it might be a factor as well. And so I think you know overall you can't read too much into it, but you know they are the 2 top teams in the country at the moment.
Well, this, of course, Tomas, is what most counties are doing through the league campaign, is looking for new few players and trying out a few different things. It's particularly important, as Michael said, I suppose, for Kilkenny and Tipperary, the two teams that have been in the All-Ireland final for the last 2 years.
Yeah, and I mean, the league encounters last year, Michael, was an incredible game as well, you know. So it seems like for Kilkenny, normal services are resumed again. They've taken the All-Ireland defeat on their chin. They're anxious to get back up on the pedestal again, you know, and so I'm sure there's going to be no stone left unturned in Kilkenny to try and win maybe the National League again and go on to win All-Ireland side of it as well. And I suppose the big test for Tipperary is realistically, are they now happy with an All-Ireland victory last year? They have the ability to go on, push on, maybe to win a league campaign again. They have the players, they have a lot of talent coming through the ranks, and are they going to maybe put back-to-back All-Irelands, you know? And I suppose one player I was delighted to see coming back that suffered a big injury last year was James Woodlock, coming back into the fray, into the game again, you know. So there's an awful lot of emerging talent in Tipperary, and I'm sure he's going to use the league to find out are they up to the standard for championship.
As the Tip manager mentioned in the interview there, they started off brightly enough. They kind of ran out of a bit of steam, he reckoned, but really Kilkenny did begin to take over then.
Yeah, the first 20 minutes Tipper on top, 4 points up at one stage, but then Kilkenny just kept in the game.